Hey guys, thank you so much for watching my recent video about Rush fans reacting to ticket prices. It's kind of funny how this is really circular, how that video focused in on the comments and responses to the ticket prices, and then you guys left comments for that video. So once again, I'm going to read your comments in real time, your reaction, your opinion, your thoughts. Let's dive right in. I'm Eric. This is the Loud Boy Experience. And let's go. Our first comment is from Trey Carmichael. The total of every Rush concert I've ever been to is not equal to the amount of today's ticket price. Not even close. We all understand that tickets will go up a few bucks, but these prices are absurd. They're not even humane, so it's a shame. I first saw them in 1980 with my mom and my dad and my 3-year-old brother, and that was quite special. Wow, 3-year-olds? I returned to see them in 1994 with my 18-year-old brother in the front row center tickets that an employer gave me. Nice. And that was equally special. So 94, would that be Counterparts? Nice, dude. I Counterparts tour was amazing. I saw Rush with nearly everyone who was important to me from my teens to my 20s. I saw them 7 times. Modest, I know. No, that's fine, man. I've seen them like 7 to 10 times. I'm not even sure. I can live missing them. But as a fellow drummer, I would really love to see Annika take a spin on all those tunes. I feel you, man. I'm in exactly the same boat. I've seen them around the same many of times, saw the same concert. I've seen them with family and friends. And I also play drums. I do the best I can, but I understand you completely. It does feel like a shame. I wish I could afford it at this time. So I thank you so much for writing, Trey. Thank you for sharing that with us. Love your icon, little animal there. Another drummer. Can we be real here? This is 2/3 of Rush. Without Neil, this is really not the group. This is a money grab. Geddy's voice is gone. Just listen to any YouTube video before Neil died. It was horrible. At some point, a group has to recognize when it's over in their touring career. Rush hasn't recognized that. They're not providing value to the fans, and they're not going for their wallets. A sad way to end. You're not alone. I've heard this sentiment from other people. As a 14-year-old teen whose favorite band is Rush and went to the Time Machine tour, I missed that one. Man, I love my Time Machine Blu-ray. Love it. And it's such an amazing performance. Great selection of songs, moving pictures. Yeah. So that you got to see that. Good for you, bro. When I was in the womb, hold on. And went to the Time Machine tour when I was in the womb. I should have finished that bloody sentence. Dude, that's freaking awesome. My mom, a music major in college, the same college I eventually went to as a young person. I was in her womb. I was a little baby in music class. And when she was in music class and they played music, I'd be jamming out inside my mommy's tummy. Okay. I was there when she graduated college. I then came back to this little private school and I went through the TV film department and I graduated again. So really I've graduated twice, but I was there back in the mid-70s with my mom. And I don't remember it, but my mom has told stories of me just jamming out to music every time I heard it, right? This is close to I'll ever get to seeing my favorite band ever and the greatest band of all time. Well said, my friend. Just grateful for the experience. I get to soak it up in June in the Forum. So you're going. LA Forum in June? Yeah, I assume that's what that means. Soak up in June at the Forum. I'm glad you're going, man. A young person in love with Rush. And you've seen the Time Machine tour in your mommy's belly. I love that so much. I love how, because when my wife was pregnant with our babies, especially my first 2 boys, right? I have 2 older boys, my daughter, and 1 younger son. So I have 3 boys total and my daughter. So we have 4 kids. And the first 2 especially, I would get my big headphones on, kind of like these, right? I get the big headphones and I'd place it on her cute little tummy with our little baby inside, and I would play Rush in Dream Theater. Because I heard that classical music made babies really intelligent, right? And I thought, well, if classical music makes baby intelligent, then guess what? Rush and Dream Theater will definitely make a baby intelligent. So yes, our babies soaked up some of the finest music around. They're in their early 20s now, are extremely intelligent, scary intelligent. It is like scary how smart my kids are. So I'm very proud of them. And I hope that it was because they got to listen to the best music around. Love your comment. Thank you for writing it. Let's move on. This is Steven. The first time seeing Rush open for Blue Oyster Cult in 77, tickets were $5.50. Prices increased $2 to $3 a year. Touring a new album, prices were about $20 range in the 80s. Greed had ruined enjoying live concerts. I wouldn't pay more than $100, no matter how good they are. Neil was the nucleus of the band. It's just not Rush without him. Tear. And a keyboardist will be with the band, a trio no more. I know. I just mentioned this in my other video. YouTube vids of the tour will start posting after June 8th. Judge them for yourself. You didn't say anything that wasn't truth. Yeah. I just mentioned this in another video. I believe it was because I did the video about Annika and Geddy and Alex, their announcement of the additional dates and stuff. I made a video about that, and then I have a new video with all of your comments about that video. So it's like this video, but it's about that. And I did, Frank brought up, one of our fellow viewers here, he brought up the fact that Lauren will be playing keyboards with them. And yeah, and that's when I realized, this is no longer the Trinity, the trio, right? It fundamentally changes Rush, especially if they decide to make new music. And, my first take, when I start really thinking about it, my thought is a little bit of like pulling back, right? In concern, like you. And like I see in this comment, Stephen, that it feels less and less like the Rush with Neil, Alex, and Geddy that we've known for our whole lives, basically. And therefore, I feel you. And I'm going to have to think about this some more. Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate it, bro. Here's the next one. I'm going to Chicago. Oh, good. Got my tickets already. One of the big regrets is not seeing Rush again since 79. Whoa. Okay. Meaning, whoa, that's been a while. My goodness, that's like what? 40? Almost. Okay, it's been a while. And it was over. But now I'm taking my 50-year-old daughter and my 40-year-old son. I'm excited. Boom. I love these comments. When we talk about the 50-something tour, there's so much to discuss. From Annika joining, will the boys be able to keep up and do this much? The one shining thing that I take away from all this is your comment right there, as one S.E. Walker, is that you get to bring your kids. And having this opportunity to hear Rush songs played live with 2/3 of the band, plus Annika and now Lauren on keys, to see that live and bring your kids, that is special and wonderful. And I'm excited for you. Many of us have been with Rush for decades. Me, almost 40 years. I've been a Rush fan. I love this band. But there is one thing that we all need to be mindful of. The industry as a whole is very expensive right now to go see a concert. Harry Styles is one example. My daughter is a huge Harry Styles fan, and the tickets are out of this world expensive. He just announced a tour. I believe he's going to do a residency soon as well, either in MSG or in Vegas, one or the other. Point is, ticket prices across the board are extremely expensive right now. This is indicative of an entire industry. Now, can a band have less expensive tickets further? Yeah, of course they can by playing smaller venues, but this is the difference though. I have recently seen Dream Theater and Steven Wilson in smaller venues, and the prices were reasonable. Okay, we're talking sub $100, even from $50 to $75 for a halfway decent seat. That most of us can afford if we really want to see an artist. Now, the second we get into the hundreds, up into the thousands and beyond, that's when a lot of us are like, are you serious? I need to buy groceries. Rush is in that category, meaning Rush they are big enough to fill and sell out an entire arena in whatever respective city they visit and they play at. They can do that. 4 nights in Dallas, 4 nights in LA, multiple nights in Chicago, multiple nights in New York City. They can do that. These bigger venues have a much higher entry price just for the band alone. There is something going on. I'm not sure what it is and why it's so inflated, why prices are in general inflated and really expensive, meaning just the operating cost alone. Forget fuel, all the trucks, all the equipment, the hotels, the transportation, having your crew, housing them, paying them. Those are all expenses, okay? The band has to incur those. There's a baseline there. We have to pay this much to put our tour on. Above that, and part of that really, but in that, the cost category is the venue itself. Since Rush has the ability to play multiple nights in a stadium or, in some place where a sports team plays, well, then those sometimes cost $1 to $2 million a night just to rent or lease or pay to have access to and use that venue. That's extremely expensive. Smaller venues, like I just saw Steven Wilson down in Dallas, a small multi-level theater, probably fit, 500 to 1,000 people, a small theater. That, of course, would not cost $1 to $2 million to get for a night. It might cost $100K. Who knows what it is, right? So it's literally in that example would be 1/10 of the cost, and therefore the ticket prices are reflective of that. We live in a society where this is capitalism 101. Meaning you can, if things are already inflated and you pay this much for a tour, okay? All the operating costs, the rent of the venue, and everything that it costs to actually go out on the road, okay? That's your baseline expense. Then to make a profit, you need to charge X amount of dollars beyond that. Okay. And who knows? I'm not sure what that is, how much they're making. Are they making 20 points off of that? Are they making 10 points off of that? Meaning, if it costs them $1,000 to put on the tour for one night, just as a weird example, okay? 10% of that is we will charge $100 more per ticket so we can make at least 10% for each ticket, meaning it may be less. I don't know what it is. I'm not an industry insider. I just know that the industry itself, the music and live venue, creative arts industry is inflated right now. It's very expensive. And I'm sure it's worse in whatever city it is because you have exorbitant taxes in a lot of these cities, a lot of blue cities, and probably less so in the quote unquote red cities where taxes in general are less. Okay, you go to Texas, the taxes there will be much less than LA. But that across the board, though, from housing, transportation, fuel, when you go out there, there's higher taxes on everything. And most likely lower taxes than everything if you go to a different state like Texas. Okay, lower tax. Therefore, your operating costs might be 20% less. And therefore, you can charge less to the end consumer, which is another name for you and me wanting to go see Rush live. So there's something going on. And that's the best analysis that I've been able to gain using, because I have a business degree. And from what I can remember from back in college in business, I just believe that this is what's going on. It's not just Rush, but I can understand your passion. I completely understand your emotion, because once you get over the Annika isn't Neil hurdle, and you still want to see Rush this time around without Neil, if you want that, and then you can't afford it, that naturally is like a wellspring of emotion. Like, I want to go see my band. I want to see them play again. I want to bring my kids to see them again. That becomes an emotional response. Completely understandable. I understand it. I'm trying not to be, because right now I cannot see Rush. I cannot afford it at this very moment. Things might change. I might get a ticket. I don't know. But at this very moment, I am not going to see the 50-something tour. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to have more comments videos in the future. Please leave me one for this one if you want to. Tell me about the concert tickets you've gotten, if you haven't gotten them, and what you think about the new tour, especially those of you in South America, throughout Europe and the UK. I want to hear from you. I'm going to make another video soon with more comments, and specifically, I'm going to dive into a lot of you who are excited that Rush is coming across the pond. This is the Loud Boy Experience. You have a good night.